so excited because a lot of you have requested this, a tour of our new home and garden. And yes, we did move. People ask, did you find a house? Did you plant a garden? And we have done both. Now, the journey ended up being a little bit different than we had hoped for. Expected. And we're not putting too many things in stones and stuff like that. But anyway, so for a recap, in May, we decided to sell our urban homestead. We had thought about it for a while because we needed a bigger house, and sold the house. And then we decided we were going to spend the summer in Sweden.
Yeah, we had the whole summer off. So we actually didn't need a house for the whole summer, which was great. And when we got back to San Diego, we thought we'd buy a new place, but wow, the real estate market turned out to be very complicated when we got back. And
we looked at a lot of houses.
Yeah.
I mean, a lot, more than the poor kids wanted to do. And we found great houses in not so nice neighborhoods. And we found not so nice houses in great neighborhoods. But it seemed that we couldn't find both of them.
So when it came time to coming back, we actually had some very nice friends that were in Germany, and so we got to stay in their house. But as it approached time for the kids to get to school, they were coming home and we needed to get settled. So we ultimately decided we're gonna rent.
So we're renting a house from an amazing woman. We are she couldn't be better. And we are very close to the school, and we are walking distance to a store, to a pharmacy, and to coffee shops, which makes a huge difference.
We've always wanted to be able to walk to those things, and we've never lived in a situation like that. So that's super cool.
Yeah, and we live by a canyon, so we have the most amazing sunrises.
Oh, this morning's was amazing.
It was one of the best, and I because then we don't have TV. It's really fun to sit on the couch and actually watch
with the coffee in the morning. Yeah. Especially the whole house. One of the things I love about it is the whole living room and bedroom just basically has all windows facing east, so we can watch the sunrise.
Yeah, so but obviously because you're renting, you might want to ask him about the garden. So our landlord said that I understand, because she looked into who we were, and she said, I totally understand you want to put in some boxes, and I will be fine with that as long as you remove them when you leave. And we had planned to do that. But when we came back in fall, ended up being so busy. Bella was in a big play. Noah, soccer, he started playing for a new team. So he's been going crazy. And there's been a lot of soccer practice and a lot of driving. And Liam's been doing theater. Yeah, so he's been gone. So it's been a lot of driving. Plus between James' work being more demanding and mine because of the book, and a lot of other cool things have been going on in my work thing. Life just got busy.
Took us a little while to get the garden in place.
And it's and I missed it. But a couple of months ago, I planted in pots, but now we planted a garden because we discovered that our neighbors had 4 boxes that were just sitting there empty, and they sat there for a couple of months. So we went over, James actually went over, introduced himself, and asked would it be possible for us to grow in new boxes, and they were so excited about that.
They were super excited because they were just grown over with weeds, and it was their intention to build and grow in the boxes, but I think just for some physical limitations that hadn't happened yet. And so they were thrilled to have us get it all cleaned up and planted.
And once they figured out who we were, they were very excited because they're like, we have some pepper plants, maybe you can help us with those.
They need some help.
Yeah, so they realized that we actually know what we're doing, or well, most of the time we know what we're doing. So anyway, we planted our first garden in this home, and so excited. It feels so good to be back. Now, we are not going to grow as much as we did in our old house because the old house, it worked. When the children were much younger, it was a great situation. During the pandemic, we had nothing but to do than to grow, and we also grew for our community. But once our life got more busy, and once my book was published,
and the kids were getting older, more activities,
it actually became a little bit of a burden. And James traveled more for work. So it's like, it was a big garden for me to take care of. I loved the big garden. We learned a lot. But we're going to have slightly smaller garden. We're going to still, in hopes, and our goal is that we're going to grow enough vegetables that we're going to sustain ourselves. But like I said, we're not going to grow for other people anymore.
And hopefully we'll have some component of every one of our dinners coming out of the garden as it really gets established.
Yeah, exactly. And it's already starting to get there. I'm so excited. The potatoes are coming up, so we're growing potatoes in pots, which is how I learned to do it. We used to have that long potato run. Now we do it in pots. That is how I grew up learning to grow potatoes from my my mom, and it works great. You can grow potatoes in small spaces. And of course, we're growing kale, and we're growing lettuce, we're growing broccoli, because we're big broccoli fans.
And spinach, and onions.
And peas.
And peas.
And in the garden, we already have an orange tree, and mature orange trees, lots of oranges. So every time there's like rain, a lot of oranges falls off. And we have a tangerine tree, we have an apple tree, and somewhere on this property,
Or at least close to us.
Close to us, there is a macadamia nut tree. I can't wait to find that tree, or whoever has it, because we have, James was showing me, he's like, oh, these acorns are here.
Yeah,
and
when
I'm
I was cleaning up the whole garden, I found lots of these, and I was like, oh, these are macadamia nuts. We got to figure out what neighbor has this thing and strike a trade.
Yeah, that is so exciting, because once I find that, oh my God, macadamia nut milk, it's gonna be so good. Anyway, because we're in the canyon, we actually, instead of an alley, which we used to have, and here we are in the canyon, so A is more quiet, way quiet. I mean, it's actually like scary quiet sometimes, except we have coyotes. I know that I say that with excitement, but I love living by nature. Obviously, that means our bunny is now living indoors. Simba is not going to be outside because we don't want
Just to be safe.
Yeah, to be safe. And Astro, he already scared off one coyote. We have a big fence, so I don't think the coyotes can come in, but a coyote came up to the fence when James was out of town, and Astro then becomes like alpha male, the protector. So he ran out, and he was ugly, and he chased that off, didn't you, Astro? Can't see him, he's laying here. But we also get squirrels. That's new for us. I don't know how that's going to go with gardening. I hear squirrels can be quite gnarly to one. But so far, they have left it alone. The only thing that happened was that I think it was a person, must have taken one of our broccoli plants. Just pulled it out. Yeah, it's kind of strange.
Luckily, we planted plenty.
Yeah, it's fine. If someone wants to take one, it's good. We can share. So, but anyway, our garden does have AstroTurf. You're going to see that. That is not our choice, but at least it's not grass, which, you know, for California with drought, although we have had more fair share of rain than ever, but we don't want to have it. But the rest of the vegetables and stuff, the vegetation is actually drought resistant, which is nice. We don't have to use. Yeah,
so we've got a really nice bird bath out back that the birds love to come visit. In fact, I'm just looking out at some now, so they love to come in and visit and drink some water.
Yeah, so let's give you guys a tour of the house, shall we?
Let's go.
So the one compromise we had to do was our plans were to have separate bedrooms for the boys, but because we're renting, we end up with one room for the boys, and they were happy to share. We asked them and they said yes. So this is their room right now. And they're out towards the street, but it's such a quiet street. Piano. I think this is the most cluttered room. All right, let's go into Bella's room. This is Bella's room. We can't really decide if she has a bigger room or a smaller room, but she loves the color in here. Desk, and she has a much bigger closet than she used to have, so I think that's good. More storage. Although, I think Christmas decoration is up there too. And next door is the master bedroom. Sunroom. And as you can see, a beautiful view out to the garden. My favorite thing to wake up to.
So one of the things that I really fell in love with this house was the kitchen. Because my old kitchen was obviously slightly bigger because we had the dining room, but the kitchen, we had the table and stuff like that in there. But this one is much more open and fresh and light, which is really exciting because I do love to cook and bake a lot. So, and this way also kids can sit here with me and I can have interaction, or someone can sit on the other side of this and actually help me in the kitchen. And we have it's light, it's fresh, it's has a nice little view that way too towards the college area because we're in El Cerrito in San Diego, so we're close to the San Diego State, and it goes straight into the garage, which I guess our old place did too, but I have this amazing view again of the canyon when I'm standing here cooking or making breakfast in the morning. So this is definitely one of my favorite part of the house features.
And one dream we had was to make our garage into a gym. So I bought all this equipment used. Pretty much everyone in the family work out here. So more me and Noah and Bella. But this way we don't have to have a gym membership, which costs money. This is very convenient, and the view from the treadmill is out on the street, and it's amazing how many of the neighbors come and wave at us. And on warm days we open the garage, and then people definitely come up and talk. But I bought all this equipment used. I spent very little money on it. Now let's go out and see the front garden. Because we live in a cul-de-sac, it is so quiet here. We got lettuce, cauliflower and broccoli, peas, herbs, and more lettuce, and then kale and onions. Lots of kale and onions. And this is just the beginning. We are gonna do more, and this is our neighbor, so I think they are excited that we are beautifying their front yard. And other than our front yard is just all this natural that doesn't require a whole lot of water, very drought resistant. It makes me very happy. We're gonna sweet peas. Now, the biggest trick we have here that we did not have in our old place is we have squirrels. So it's gonna be interesting. And other ones, coyotes, but I don't think they come up here. Because we haven't grown food in well, we have grown, but not in, it's just so much smaller scale. So we had to buy most of it from the farmers market, which we're lucky we have it here 365 days of the year. However, it's not the same as when you grow your own food. I have to just say it. It's not. So I'm very excited to be started again. I'm gonna have a garden again. It's fun. All right, this is our backyard. Isn't it beautiful? And that canyon, and we have our bird bath. So the best part is, and what we like this house is because what, James?
Well, we have a separate office out in the garden, which is nice because I have super early morning meetings before everybody wakes up. So now I have a place to go and have meetings and be quiet for the rest of the house.
Yeah, but it's also a studio. So for like when I'm doing any Zoom classes or whatever, or meetings or live shows, I don't have to have dogs or kids walking in on me.
That's
and
right.
what do you have? What are you growing outside your window?
Oh, we've got some lettuce here. So we're just finding all sorts of little places to grow things wherever we can.
Yeah, and we have started, like we already started composting with bokashi as soon as we got here because that was easy to bury, but now we actually have built a worm bin again. Mm-hmm. So we are, because of the garden, vegetable garden, obviously, we are then need to have compost. So yes, here's the lettuce. It's just one of the places we're growing, but this was like a really natural place, and the squirrels don't seem to come here. Right, Astro?